a couple culture shocks that I encountered while being over there. Another one was the fact that they don't slice up the pizza. Like,
You're supposed to fold into like a wallet. You walk around with it and eat it like that. You fold into fours. You really want to impress the locals, fold it up like that and eat it.
Hey, Jamie Woods, we here to travel and motivate. No curry, we just trying to keep our minds in a golden state. We answer to nobody but the Lord, we control our fate. Too many things to see just to sit in a hole and bake. We growing, ayy.
judging from our conversations, you've actually seen the real side of Italy. Because as cool as Rome is, Milan, these big cities, they're just big cities. They don't really represent Italy 100%. But these smaller villages, these smaller towns are the true Italy.
Number one, driving could be extremely difficult to getting to these towns. Be prepared for a lot of switchbacks and mountain roads and really, really tiny alleyways, that were meant for horses, not for cars. So if you get a car, be careful of that. Once you get there, best thing you can do is rent an Airbnb. One of the places we stayed in a beautiful city on the Adriatic called Loreto. Loreto is what's one of the holy cities in Italy, like Assisi or Rome, but much smaller and lesser known. And we stayed in an Airbnb there where the mother of the household was from Morocco and the father was Italian. And in the morning when we had woken up, they had prepared for us a breakfast outside underneath their massive fig tree. And she was coming out with all these homemade baked goods, fresh squeezed orange juice. It was an amazing experience and relatively cheap as well. So the experience you're going to get there is, it feels like they try to make you feel like you're at home. And they're just happy to share their town with you, give you a tour of the stuff that you might not find on Google, right? You might not know about this. Sometimes they'll uncover like, hey, here's an ancient ruin from the goddess 𝐸𝐵𝐿. And you're like, what? Like, this is 3,000, 2,000 years old, So it's stuff like that. It's the hidden gems that you really get to, get a tour of the local olive oil factory. You get to try the olive oil. Here's a class where you can make your own mozzarella, buffalo mozzarella, stuff like that.
When I went to Italy, like, they were so anti-butter over there, and everything was olive oil. Like, where instead of you putting like butter on bread, it would be like you dipping your bread into the olive oil. So there were like a couple culture shocks that I encountered while being over there. Another one was the fact that they don't slice up the pizza. Like, they especially if it's a personal pie, they don't slice it up.
Now you're supposed to fold into like a wallet. You walk around with it and eat it like that. You fold into fours.
Literally, like, really, that's how you're supposed to eat it.
Yeah, you take that personal pie, you fold it up into fours, and you eat it like that. And you fold it up and eat it like that.
I thought it was like fork and knife, because I saw a bunch of people like using fork and knives.
You can too, but if you really want to impress the locals, fold it up like that and eat it. And then the butter and the olive oil. In the north, they will use more butter, more cream sauces. In the north, they don't really use as much tomato sauce a lot more like chestnuts in their food, risotto as opposed to like pasta. In the north, you'll see heavily in Milan, and we were in Como, right by the Alps, and that's really big up there as well. I think that comes from the French influence, right over the border of the Alps, and the resources they had available to them. It's a lot more cream sauces and a lot more honey. And then as you go down south, the sauce turns into a tomato, like a pomodoro, right? Like a sugo, tomato paste sauce, and a lot more olive oil, for sure. And like they call, when you soak up the sauce or olive oil on your plate, like scarpetta, like you take the toast or the panella bread or whatever, and you soak it all up. It's good, very delicious. You clean the plate.
Definitely the best cuisine in all of Europe, I can say that. But in terms of culture shocks, what was the biggest culture shock you experienced going to Italy?
The smoking was definitely one. We went to see a DJ in Milan one night, and in America you get people at a concert and they're smoking weed or whatever. In Milan, everyone was just blasting cigs. Like, the whole crowd was just smoking cigarettes, and while dancing. It can't be good for your cardio. That was one of the biggest culture shocks that I noticed while over there. What else? Their labor force has a lot more strikes, and the people are very nonchalant about it. Like, one day we were waiting to get a bus to go to the port to visit Capri, right? And we're in Sorrento. We're waiting for like, it felt like hours. And an old lady comes by and she's like, oh, no bus today, sciopero. Sciopero means strike. Oh, they're just on strike. You know what I mean? The buses ain't running today. You have to deal with it. You know what I mean? Trains too. So they have a very different approach to that type of stuff. Whereas in America, it'd be like, it'd be all over the news. It's so routine there that stuff happens, which was interesting as well. That was a little bit of a culture shock. Trying to see what else. It's not much was too shocking for me. Like I said, I was used to or familiar with a lot of the different things there. So nothing was struck me as too alarming or jarring.
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty cultured. I mean, you're pretty educated, well informed on Italy, on the motherland. So I don't really think too much will shock you. But I was just curious, and definitely that's one of them too. Like I saw so many people smoking cigarettes all the time. But then again, I feel like it's also a Europe thing because France, same way. Turkey, all they do is smoke and drink tea all day. So, but definitely you're right about Italy. We have a couple comments here. So Charles says, I've been to a few AC Roma, Inter Milan, Juventus. One of the matches was against Napoli.
It's a bad rivalry, Napoli and Juve. And Rome is his favorite city as well, followed by Torino. Beautiful city, Torino. They're known for their coffee and chocolate.
So he's making fun of the English people with the footballs coming home.
Yeah. There's when they said that in the last Euro, not the one that just passed, but they were saying, "Oh, it's coming home," and everyone's like, "No, it's coming Rome." Instead,
I'm glad Bonucci and Chiellini got that trophy, man.
Yeah, and it felt good to see him when he was playing for LAFC. I got to see him.
Yeah, this Euros, I think he was an announcer, so I was like, wow, well, like Chiellini's an announcer now, like. Such a cool guy.
He's got the personality for it,
He's got that like charming Italian personality to him.
He's funny, man. He's comedic. Yeah.
Yeah. So Charles says the general aroma around Italy is coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah, that's fair. When I was in Portugal, I say the general aroma around there was bacalhau. a lot of codfish everywhere you went, but delicious nonetheless.
Bari is on the bucket list.
Yeah, we visited Bari. Bari's underrated. A couple of years from now, you're going to see it all over TikTok, I'm sure, and it's going to be flooded with tourists. So go.
Where's Bari? Is that South Italy?
That's what would be the heel of the boot. It is South Italy. It's the heel of the boot. Their dialect there is bonkers, barese. That is, if you ever hear anyone speaking it, yeah, it's incomprehensible for me. But their beaches are some of the best in Italy, best kept secrets. We visited a city that I think you're going to hear a lot of in the near future called Trani, Trani, near Molfetta, Italy. And the amount of young people that were there and the nightlife, and all these like outdoor bars on the water, it's beautiful, picturesque. You could just walk along this esplanade. That's going to blow up in terms of tourism in the future. And the property there is pretty cheap. You don't have to be of Italian citizenship to buy property there. So if any of you have a job where you work from home, you want to live for cheap, and buy a home there for 50,000 euro, and it's livable condition, and you get to be in one of the most beautiful cities in the south, I would recommend Trani to anyone in Bari. Very underrated, but I'm telling you, just like Cinque Terre, when I was in Cinque Terre, so many tourists, you're gonna see Bari in the next couple of years become like that.
Yeah, and shout out to Carl Pierre, man. I had him on here a couple weeks ago, and he actually has real estate and property in Italy, and he was one of the guys that bought property in Sicily for $1 or however much, €1. And then he pimped it out and flipped it and made it into a nice livable home. I don't know if you saw that one, Lou.
Yeah, I want to just caution with the Euro homes. It is a great program, and we're welcoming any type of help that we could get over there, right? But there are some things you should know. First and foremost, in these villages, it could be difficult to get people to work on your home, to find skilled labor, a roofer, a plumber, an electrician, to come and do the work, right? So that's first and foremost. Second, when you're not in Italy at the property, you need to have someone. For me, I can have a relative, but for others, have a local that would watch the property for you in case of disrepair. God forbid, a tree falls on it, or there's an earthquake, or you get squatters or something like that, you need to have someone local to keep an eye on that property for you while it's being repaired. So there are things that you should do your research before getting one of those €1 homes. But you could spend 20,000, 30,000, 50,000 euro and get a home that's already livable. You don't need to put much work in. I have a friend in the Cilento in Alta Villa who bought the home across the street from his parents' house, 50,000, pristine condition, 2-family. He could rent out the bottom floor, make it an Airbnb, whatever. Balcony, beautiful. And the reason why some of these homes are so cheap is because a lot of them, the streets are too small or narrow for cars, so you have to park your car like blocks away. So that's one of the reasons why. But most people get around through public transit or a moped or motorcycle or anything like that anyway. So you really don't, depending on where you are, you might not need a car.
So in terms of your future plans, of course, if you feel comfortable sharing it, like, do you see yourself in the future owning any property or living or whatever the case is in Italy?
I would love to. I would love to invest in my ancestral home over there, and, fix up an old building there and give back. I feel like there's something beautiful about a homecoming. Like my ancestors left poor peasants, to be frank, and to go back as 3 generations, 4 generations later and be able to help out where they came from, I think is a beautiful story, right? It's possible. I'm open to it. I was exploring dual citizenship. It doesn't look like that will be a possibility for me, unfortunately, due to stipulations with the immigration law there. But yeah, I would love to. I recommend, if you're an Italian American that's watching this stream, do your research, find out where your family came from. Go to ellisisland.org. You could find the ship manifest. It'll tell you find their name, and it'll tell you where they came from. And then go visit the village and see if you can find some cheap property. Go back. So I would recommend that to anyone.